Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? The conflicts in the southwest finally ended in a victory for the great Zhou dynasty, reclaiming long-lost territories, which is a great honor for any dynasty and emperor. On the day of the triumphant return, Emperor Xianling bestowed honors and rewards, marking the moment of glory and fame for my elder brother. With the military commanders gaining renown from the battle, my brother was appointed as the general of the nation and was also granted a prestigious marriage, achieving great success at a young age. Naturally, it was also the most glorious time for Prince Xianji of Runan and the Murong clan. Prince Xianji received double stipends of a prince, rode horses in Zhou City, and the father of Empress Hua Murongjiong was promoted to the first-rank Marquis of Jai. His eldest son Murong Song was titled the Earl of Jingping, and his second son Murong Bai became the Earl of Suiping. Empress Hua's mother, Madame Huang, received special attention and was titled the Lady of Pingyuan Prefecture, second rank, comparable to the mothers of the four consorts. Later, Empress Hua was also conferred the title of Lady Shihua of the first rank, enjoying high honor and peaceful luxury as if basking in the noonday sun. With her family's distinguished military achievements and holding significant power over the six palaces, along with Emperor Xianling's favor, everything seemed perfect except for the absence of a child. After recovering, Mei Zhuang became less fond of going out, appearing indifferent to Emperor Xianling's affection, meeting him only when summoned. Facing such pressing circumstances, Mei Zhuang could no longer restrain her frustration. One day, Mei Zhuang came to my palace abruptly. The eunuch had barely announced her arrival before she walked in unassisted, without any maidservants. Seeing her pale and fluctuating complexion, a stark contrast to her usual demeanor, I knew she had something important to discuss and thus ordered everyone to leave. Mei Zhuang bit her lower lip, her chest heaving with unsettled emotions, her face turning red with anger and resentment. I poured her a cup of Biluacan tea and softly said, "Sister, what troubles you?" Mei Zhuang held the teacup without drinking, her expression somewhat blurred amidst the wafting tea aroma. After a long moment she bitterly said, "Empress Hua." I glanced at her, gently correcting, "Sister, it's Lady Shihua." Unable to hold back any longer, Mei Zhuang shook her teacup violently, splashing tea everywhere. Biting her lip, she spat out fiercely, "Lady Shihua only resents me for not having a father or brother to gain glory on the battlefield, letting that vile woman benefit instead." I slowly stood up, playing with a snow-white parrot on the golden stand, and said with a slight smile, "Sister, there's no need to be so upset. Lady Shihua is so sought after, yet I somehow see her resembling the late Empress Yue. Mei Shuang, Buzzled, Bondert, Empress Yue." As I added water for the parrot and adjusted my hairpin, I slowly said, "Empress Yue was the mother of Prince Runan, the younger sister of Marquis Boling. In the 10th year of Longqing, Marquis Boling rebelled, and Empress Yue was deeply implicated, dying in sorrow without favor." I smiled lightly. For this reason, Empress Yue was not even granted the title of Great Consort and is still denied the honor of being worshipped in the great ancestral temple. Mei Zhuang gave a bitter smile. How could the Murong family rebel? I scoffed slightly. Why need to rebel? Being too meritorious can be threatening enough. And who's to say they won't? Perhaps even Prince Runan might not. Mei Zhuang finally smiled, saying, "I've also heard that in recent years, Prince Runan has become increasingly domineering, once insulting civil officials in court, and his mansion indulging in extreme luxury. There's widespread criticism in the court and among the officials, yet the emperor merely laughs it off, showing him even greater favor." I smiled without answering. When I was younger, reading Zhuan, I came across the story of Duke Zheng overcoming Duan at Yan, where Lady Jiang favored her younger son, Xu Duan, wishing to replace the duke with him. The duke indulged her time and again, and when his ministers advised him, he simply said, "Injustice will eventually lead to self-destruction. Just wait and see." Only after Xu Duan aroused public outrage and his wrongdoings were beyond redemption did he execute him. Although later generations despised the duke's treatment of his half-brother, this was actually a very wise move from an imperial perspective. Recently, Emperor Xianling jokingly asked me about my thoughts on Prince Runan's unrestrained behavior, and I responded by reading the story of Duke Zheng from Zhuan to him. Emperor Xianling smiled and said, "Your thoughts align perfectly with mine. Now everything is like adding fuel to the fire. All because of the saying, just wait and see." I smiled and lowered my head. An abscess must fester to a certain extent before it can be surgically removed. Let it burst. The deeper the rot, the cleaner the excision. Seeing Mei Zhuang in deep thought, I changed the subject. "Sister, you seem quite cold towards the emperor lately." Mei Zhuang smiled indifferently. "How should I fawn over and please him? To the emperor, I'm just someone he can call upon or dismiss at will." My smile slowly faded and I simply said, "Without the emperor's favor, how could sister overthrow Lady Xihua? The less favor you have, the easier it is for others to disdain you. As someone who has experienced this, do I really need to repeat myself?" Her eyes widened slightly, a hint of a smile in her gaze. "You really wish for me to be favored?" The weather at the end of April was somewhat hot, and even the fragrance of flowers was overly sweet. A branch of white magnolia leaned against the window screen, signaling the end of spring. The room was quiet, with only the soft sound of the golden chain on the parrot's leg. The green tea in Mei Zhuang's cup looked like a pool of exquisite emerald glaze, vividly green. I felt a chill in my heart and after a moment said, "Do you think I wish to see you neglected?" I paused. "Sister, you seem to have grown distant from me lately. Are you upset because I'm pregnant?" Mei Zhuang shook her head. "Not at all, don't overthink it. We're still as we were before. I'll remember what you said." I escorted Mei Zhuang to the E-gate. The spring weather was clear and bright, with the long shadows of the red palace walls stretching across the ground. The peonies and azaleas bloomed like brocade, radiant and splendid. Mei Zhuang, dressed in a carmine silk robe embroidered with peach leaves, walked through the vibrant scenery. A breeze from all directions made her figure seem all the more forlorn, adding a touch of melancholy to her silhouette against the aging spring light, stirring a sense of sadness. Every May, we would go to the Taiping Palace to escape the heat, returning to the palace before the Mid-Autumn Festival. This year, due to the lingering epidemic among the people and the aftermath of the war, which left a great deal of governmental affairs to be handled, we stayed in Zhou City, sparing me and consort Du Liang the fatigue of travel during our pregnancies. The death of Chun'er had left me in low spirits for a long time. Aside from official duties, Mei Zhuang seldom went out, and Lingrong, who had lost her voice, was even more reluctant to see people and rarely visited me. Only consort Jing still came to visit often. Emperor Xianling, worried that my gloominess might harm me and the child in my womb, tried every possible way to make me smile, sending many new and interesting things to entertain me. He also ordered the Internal Affairs Department to find a white parrot to cheer me up and granted permission for my newlywed brother and his wife to visit me in the palace in 3 days. The 3-day period quickly arrived. Early in the morning, my brother, after paying his respects to the emperor, brought his wife Xue Qitao to my palace. Knowing that I had recently been honored with the title of Noble Consort Guan, they greeted me with great respect upon our meeting, saying, "Noble Consort Guan, may you be blessed with peace and prosperity." Touched, I quickly turned away to wipe my tears with a handkerchief. Then with a smile, I personally helped them up, saying, "It's rare for you to visit. Don't be so formal, it would only make me sad." Then I had seats arranged for them and asked, "How are father and mother doing?" My brother replied, "Father and mother are well. They specifically instructed me to convey their regards to you today upon my visit to the palace." My eyes welled up with tears and I nodded. I am well here in the palace, and knowing that our parents are healthy gives me peace of mind. Please remind them to take good care of themselves. That will ease my worries. My sister-in-law then paid her respects. "It's all thanks to your great fortune, Your Highness. When our parents heard about your pregnancy and your new title, they were overjoyed and couldn't contain their happiness. Mother prays day and night for you, wishing you to give birth to a son." I took a good look at my sister-in-law. As a newlywed, she was dressed in a peach-red yun brocade skirt with golden butterflies, living up to her name, resembling a vibrant peach blossom. She wasn't strikingly beautiful, but her appearance radiated joy and affability, making her very approachable. I was inwardly pleased. While Lingrong is gentle and subtle like water, my sister-in-law has a bright and straightforward personality, displaying the grace and decorum of a lady from a prominent family. It seemed she could manage the affairs of the Zhan household and alleviate some of our mother's concerns. I was quite satisfied with her and said, "Your father, Lord Xuezongjian, is known for his integrity as an official. Even though I am confined to the palace, I have heard of his reputation. The emperor often says that if every official were like Lord Xue, the court would be in good hands." My sister-in-law modestly replied, "It's the emperor's gracious understanding and compassion. My father will surely serve the court with all his heart." I chuckled and looked at my brother. "Now that you are an official at court, you should learn from your father-in-law." My brother gave a slight smile, not showing much reaction, but my sister-in-law turned to him with a radiant smile, revealing her white teeth like jade. Such a scene made my brother blush. Before my brother's visit, I was somewhat worried. He had never met his wife before their marriage, and I feared that they might not get along, leading to a lack of harmony in the future. I chose her from among many candidates because of her father's good reputation, and what I had heard about her being easy to get along with. However, choosing someone without meeting them first was somewhat rash. Seeing them now, I realized that my worries were unfounded. A woman who smiles and converses so easily, even if there wasn't much affection at first, would likely lead to a harmonious relationship over time. My brother pointed to the food boxes on the table and said, "Mother said that you might not have much appetite during your pregnancy, so she prepared these dishes from home, all of which you used to enjoy." I gratefully accepted and instructed Lu Zhu to take them to the kitchen. While we were speaking, Lingrong sent Juqing over with some gifts for my brother and sister-in-law as a wedding congratulation. The gifts were 8 pieces of fine palace satin and Yunfei damask, all adorned with gold and silver threads, dazzling to the eye. Given Lingrong's current disfavor, these gifts must have been a significant gesture from her, which I found very touching. Juqing said, "My mistress wanted to come in person, but due to her poor health, she had to send me instead. She asked me to convey her wishes for Lord Zhan and Lady Zhan to have a harmonious marriage for 100 years and to have a precious child soon. She also sends her regards to the elder Lord Zhan and Lady Zhan." My brother and sister-in-law, aware that only those favored by consorts and empresses could send such congratulatory gifts, and being so courteous, quickly helped Juqing up, insisting, "We dare not accept such a grand gesture from the lady." I felt a twinge of emotion in my heart. Lingrong seemed to have always harbored feelings for my brother, and now to express wishes like a harmonious marriage for 100 years and a precious child soon must have been difficult for her. My brother seemed taken aback and asked, "Is Beauty unwell?" Juqing replied with a smile, "My mistress has not yet recovered from a cold." Knowing Juqing used to be from my palace and seeing my silent smile, she quickly added, "It's nothing serious, thank you for your concern." My brother simply said, "Please tell your mistress to take care and recover." My sister-in-law looked slightly puzzled by the generous gifts, so I quickly explained, "Beauty and I entered the palace together, and she stayed at my family's home before entering the palace, which is why she is particularly close to us." Soon after, Mei Zhuang also sent gifts, all beautiful textiles and fabrics. I had lunch with my brother and sister-in-law, and afterward, I spoke privately with my sister-in-law, sharing with her my brother's preferences and habits in hopes of fostering affection between them. I added, "My brother is now very busy with official duties, so I hope you can be understanding and caring." By the end of the half-day, my sister-in-law and I had grown quite close. I personally took out a pair of night pearl earrings from my makeup box. The style was nothing special, just fashionable in the palace, but the night pearls were extremely valuable. I said, "Sister-in-law, since you are new to our family, these pearl earrings should be to your liking, adding to your collection of jewelry." I also instructed my attendants to prepare pearls and silk as gifts for my brother and sister-in-law to take home. At night, after removing my makeup, I called Lu Zhu and Huan Bai in and distributed the various items my brother and sister-in-law had brought from their home, sharing the rest among the others. I kept Huan Bai back and gave her a white jade ring, saying, "Lu Zhu and you both receive a share of these, but this ring was specifically brought by my brother from our father, intended for you. Father said he worries about your financial security after leaving the palace." I personally slipped it onto her finger, smiling. "Father is perhaps overthinking it. He regrets not being able to openly acknowledge you or place your mother's tablet in the family shrine. But please understand his position." Huan Bai's eyes welled up with tears. "I've never blamed father. I sighed. I will make plans for your future to ease your concerns.
Hvanbi nodded softly.
As I reflected on the various affairs within the palace and thought of the empty quarters after Chunar's death, a shadow of melancholy fell over my heart. Pushing open the window, I was greeted by the night, serene as a pool of water, with pear blossoms falling thickly as if a heavy snow had descended, blanketing the courtyard in white. The spring breeze was gentle on my face, carrying the falling petals in a leisurely dance. I sighed softly, realizing that the day the flowers bloom is also the day they begin to fall. The cycle of blooming and fading is but a matter of the east wind's fleeting and unintentional caress.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.